The class clown's quiet struggle. To the students of Northwood High, Soren was the human equivalent of a caffeine kick. He was the boy who could turn a boring history lecture into a stand-up routine with a single, well-timed comment. He lived for the roar of the cafeteria, the way a room brightened when he walked in. As long as they were laughing, they weren't looking too closely. But when the final bell rang, the funny one vanished. At home, the air was thin and heavy, with the weight of potential. His father sat at the head of the table, his eyes fixed on a spread of college brochures and grade reports. Every conversation was a lecture, and every dinner felt like a trial where Soren was always the one being judged. His mother's expectations were quieter but just as sharp. She spoke of family legacies and the sacrifices made to get them there. Her words a velvet cage. Soren would nod and smile, feeling the invisible pressure squeeze the breath out of him. He wanted to tell them he was drowning, but he didn't have a script for that. At school, the next day, the mask went back on. Soren performed a hilarious imitation of the principal for a group in the hallway, his voice booming and his gestures wild. But as he turned the corner toward the library, his face fell into a mask of pure exhaustion. The effort of being the light of the room was leaving him in the dark. He sought out a corner of the library, hoping to disappear behind a stack of biographies. But someone was already there. Linnea, the girl who spent her lunches sketching in silence, was watching him. She didn't laugh when he tried to deflect with a quick, nervous grin. She just looked at him with eyes that seemed to see right through the punchline. "That was a good set in the hall," Linnea said quietly, her voice devoid of mockery. Soren felt a flash of irritation. "I'm always on, Linnea. It's what people expect." He reached for a book, his hands trembling slightly. "The funny one can't have a bad day. It ruins the brand." Linnea didn't look away. "It must be exhausting, carrying all that noise around so you don't have to hear the silence at home." Soren froze. The defense mechanism in his brain searched for a joke, a deflection, a way to make her laugh and go away. But for the first time in years, the words wouldn't come. "My parents, they don't see me," Soren whispered, the words feeling like jagged glass in his throat. "They see a doctor, or a lawyer, or a success story. If I'm not the funniest kid in the room, I'm just a disappointment." Here, in the quiet of the library, the class clown finally let his shoulders drop. "You don't have to perform for me," Linnea said. She opened her sketchbook and turned it toward him. It wasn't a caricature or a cartoon. It was a portrait of him, looking out a window, his expression thoughtful and serious. "I like this version of you better. He looks like he has something to say that isn't a joke." That evening, the dinner table was still quiet, and the pressure was still there. But Soren didn't force a smile. He spoke honestly about his day, and when the silence felt too heavy, he remembered the library. It was where the punchline ended and the real story began.